Okay, we'll go ahead and start the program. Welcome to today's class, Microsoft PowerPoint Basics. My name is Nova, and we have a chat facilitator today, Jessica. This class is an introduction to Microsoft PowerPoint. I'm going to pull up the screen. We will provide an overview of user interface and create a short PowerPoint presentation live using common functions. Some of the specific activities will include adding slides to our presentation, changing the layout, inserting pictures, tables, and charts, saving and printing your file, and finally presenting a slideshow. PowerPoint is a graphical presentation program used to organize and present information. PowerPoint presentations consist of a number of individual pages or slides. Slides may contain text, graphics, sound, video, and other objects that can be freely arranged. Presentations can be printed, displayed on a live computer, or navigated through a command of the presenter. For a larger audience, the presentation is often projected onto a large screen. Handouts, speaker notes, or outlines can also be produced from the slides. PowerPoint features several commonly used tabs, panes, and tools. We'll use the normal view as we create and design our presentation. At the top, you'll see the ribbon, which replaces the menu bar seen in previous versions of PowerPoint. The ribbon groups items that are most likely to be used together. There are several frequently used tabs, such as File, Home, Insert, Design, and View. Clicking on each tab activates a group of relative commands, menus, and buttons. These are also contextual tabs that only show up when needed, such as text box, tools, pictures, picture tools, drawing tools, and chart tools. So for example, if we were to click on this text box, you'll see that there's the drawing tools tab where we can format that, and that's what that looks like. To open a PowerPoint presentation, we're going to click on File, tab under the upper left corner. Here you have the option to click on New, which allows you to open a blank presentation, or you may choose from the selection of templates and themes. Open lets you navigate to existing files to view and or modify a presentation that has already been created. In your recent section, you'll see all of the presentations that you've been recently working on. Let's go back to New. The New selection gives you several options. You have the blank presentation, which creates a new presentation using default settings for text and color. These slides will not include any content or design elements. And then the templates or themes are used to create new presentations based on pre-designed slide styles. These options also do not include any content. So let's go ahead and click on blank presentation. So when you choose to create a blank presentation, PowerPoint will open a presentation with a title slide. Once the title slide is open, you'll see a slide with two placeholders. If you want a subtitle, you can click on the subtitle inside here. And if you want to enter your title, you click on the title here. So today we're going to be doing a very simple presentation about ice cream. So I'm just going to go ahead and type that in. And if you don't want to put a subtitle, you can leave it blank. This box is not going to show up when you do a presentation. So I can show an example of that. As you can see, the little placeholder text is not going to show up. Okay, I'll put my name for the subtitle. Before you move on to the rest of your project, it's always a good habit to save your document. Unfortunate situations can occur like your computer freezing or the power disconnects or even the app itself can crash, resulting in you losing your work. So to prevent this from happening, save the newly created file, then periodically resave your file as you progress through your project. You can save a file by clicking the File tab and choosing the Save option and typing a descriptive name. And for mine, I'm going to leave it as About Ice Cream. I'm going to click on Save. To add a new title, make sure you're on the Home Page tab or the Home tab, and you're going to click on the button New Slide. There's two parts to the New Slide section. You have the picture icon. Clicking on the top part will automatically insert a new slide. I'm going to click on that. But if you click on the bottom part that says New Slide, you'll see that there is a selection of layouts that you can choose from, and it kind of gives you a little descriptor of what each layout is. Okay. Here we're just going to start typing in content for our presentation. Okay. And then I'm going to just insert some of the content. Let's take a closer look at slide layouts. There are several standard slide layouts to choose from when adding a new slide. A unique layout can be chosen just by clicking on it. Each layout caption describes the layout type. Content can be text, tables, graph, charts. If you decide later that you want to change the layout that you have, you can select the slide on the thumbnail, right over here in the thumbnail pane, and you can click on the little layout icon right here next to New Slides, and you can change the layout of what your slide looks like. So for this particular one, we're going to select the to content one. Okay, and that's what that looks like. So now it's changed the slide layout. So we have text here and we have another placeholder of text, or if we want to, we can add and incorporate other elements. So text is the default content of the slide in this particular text box. The format for the default is also bulleted, as you can see with our content here. If you wanted to change the format of the bullet text, you can go up to the Home tab and use the font or paragraph section, and you can change that. If you didn't want any bullet points, you'll first have to highlight that and change it. Or if you wanted to change your font, you can do that. You can increase or decrease the size of the font. You can change the color of the font. Okay. Now adding different content. Here you can see that there's a few icons. The first icon is if you want to insert a table. The second is if you want to insert a chart. Then you have insert a smart art graphic. On the second row, we have a pictures icon. If you wanted to insert a picture that's already saved on your computer, or you can browse online pictures. And then here, this icon is if you wanted to insert a video. I don't have a picture saved on my desktop or computer right now, so we're going to use the online picture function. And let's see what that where that takes us. Okay, so here we have a Bing image search. So I'm going to type in ice cream in that search box. And you can see here we have a large selection of options to choose from. I like this image right here, so I'm going to select that. You can select multiple. I'm just going to select one. So I'm going to deselect this check mark. And you can see here with the number that it's only going to insert one image. When we had two images, this changed to two here. I'm going to deselect that and insert image. And as you can see, we have our image here. You can move the image around to set it where you like it to be. Okay. The other option that you have to add more interest to your presentation is you're able to apply a theme. Once a presentation has been created, a design or color scheme can be added. Remember to use color carefully to enhance your presentation, not detract from it. You will want to maintain good contrast between the background color and the text color. Consider using a light colored background in dark text or vice versa, but avoid using busy background in primary colors. PowerPoint has many preset designs and themes that include complementary colors and fonts. To add a theme to a presentation, go to the Design tab up top. There are several themes immediately available. To use one of the built-in themes, just click on the thumbnail. So for example, let's see what this looks like. And you can see it has changed the theme, the background. Here's another option. You can also click on this arrow down here to see all of the different themes. And if you hover over them, it changes the theme background so that you have an idea of what it'll look like before you actually change the theme. So I'm going to go back to this one. It keeps it simple. Okay, don't forget to save. So up top on this corner here, you see the save button. You can go ahead and click on that to quickly save, or you can click on the file and save. Rather than using too much text on your slide, consider using pictures along with text as a more interesting way to communicate your ideas. You can put lots of text in your notes section and refer to that as you're speaking. So I changed my mind and I don't want to have all this text in my presentation for people to view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this second portion here in my notes section. And you can add notes down here at the bottom. You're going to click on notes and you'll see that there's a little section here at the bottom. I'm going to make this a little bigger by hovering over this line and increasing the notes section. And I'm going to copy and paste my information here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this second portion of my content. Oh, I see the error here. Thank you for correcting that. Okay, I'm going to, viewing the presentation, it feels like the text is a little bit small, so I want to increase that. So I'm just going to highlight that and increase the font size by clicking either on this icon here, or you can click on the drop down for the font size and change it that way too. Okay. You can also move the text box around similar to the image by just hovering over the dotted line, clicking and dragging to move it around. Okay. Now I'm going to ask a quick poll question here. If the participants can go ahead and respond. And it's just asking what your favorite flavor of ice cream is. And using that, we'll go ahead and add more content to our presentation using the results. Okay, so as more people respond to the question, I'm going to add some more slides. So I'm just going to click on new slide here. And as you can see, when you click on the new slide icon, it will automatically default to the layout of the previous slide. Okay. And what I'm going to add is the title of this slide. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? And for this, I don't need two content boxes, so I'm going to change the layout to just the title and content layout. Okay, and then I'm going to click on the icon that says Insert tab. Now, if you can also access all of these icons up here at the top where the Insert tab is for your ribbon on your ribbon. So if you click on the Insert tab up here, you can see new slide, table, pictures. So all of the options that you have, and of course a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Insert Table. And here it gives you the option of how many columns and rows you want. So I'm going to reduce the columns to just 2. You can use the arrows, or you can highlight the number and you can type it in. Okay. And then for the number of rows, I'm going to put 4 and click OK. Oh, it didn't add the rows, but that's okay. If you see that you need to add more rows or columns, you can go ahead and right click. And you can click on the Insert tab over here. And then you can select Insert Rows, and you can select if you want it to be above your selected row or below. Okay. The other way to getting to the tools section of your table is you can go to the, can't see it because of this, the design and layout table. This top portion was being blocked by the Zoom icon, so I wasn't able to see it. But here you can see that on the tools, table tools tab, you have design layout, which gives you options on changing how the color scheme is and other functions. You have the layout option, which also gives you the options to insert or delete rows and columns. You can change the height of the rows or the width. And there's some other formatting functions here too, like how it's aligned, the content. And And here I'm going to type in the content, so the flavor. Okay. And response. And here it looks like our responses for the question. We have 15 people who like chocolate. Okay. And then we have for some reason it's not showing up. Let me see. So for some reason, on the column section, it's not typing up my text. So I'm going to delete this column and see if I insert it again, if the text is going to come up. Okay. And if you want to resize your table, you can do so by just clicking on the little circles here to make it larger or smaller. I'm not sure why it's not. Oh, there we go. And then 9 people responded for strawberry and 11 for vanilla.
Nova, we have a question that came in. Wondering if you can create your own custom theme. So when you add a new slide, it'll be the font and the color that they want.
Yes, so you are able to create custom themes. Let me go to the theme section here. So here you can format backgrounds and things like that. We're not going to go over that in today's class because that's more of an intermediate level. But you are able to create custom themes. And you can find more resources on our like PPL website with lynda.com. And you can find resources on there on how to do that. Does that answer the question? Okay. So here we have one too many rows. I'm going to just go ahead and delete a row. And then I want to change the font size because it's a little too small. So I'm just going to increase the font size so it's easier to read. And then on the design layout, or the layout section, I want everything to be centered. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on those layout options. Okay. All right. So the next thing that we can do to create in our presentation is we can insert a chart. So to do that, I'm going to click on New Slide and click on the Title and Content slide. Okay. It's going to be the same question, but we're just going to see different ways of showing the content. to make it interesting. So to create a chart, you're going to click on the chart icon that says Insert Chart, or once again, you can go up to the Insert tab and click on Chart over here. And what pops up is different options on how you want to display your data or your information. So you have line graph, pie charts, bar graphs, different options here that you can look at. We're going to keep it simple today and click on the column chart. Okay, and what pops up, get a little bit bigger. What pops up is this little Excel spreadsheet where you can enter your information. Okay, so here we don't have multiple categories, or I'm sorry, we don't have multiple series. So what we can do here is we can change this to results. Okay. And we can highlight series 2 and 3 and just delete that because it's not relevant to our chart. Okay. And here we'll go ahead and type in our different flavors. We don't need category 4, so we're just going to go ahead and delete that. Deleting once again, what I did is I right-clicked and clicked delete. And I'm going to change the result numbers to reflect what our data has. So vanilla has 11 responses. And as you can see in our chart in our presentation, the data will adjust to the information that you place in the spreadsheet. For chocolate, we have 15 responses. And for strawberry, we have 9 responses. Okay. So once we're done with that, we can click on the X box up top for this pop-up spreadsheet. And if you wanted to change the data in your chart, you can right-click and you can select Edit Data. And it'll pop up once again. And you can adjust your information if you need to. Okay. All right, so the next part, let's say we wanted to add some more information, like we wanted to introduce the topic of putting toppings on your ice cream. And let's say we did a poll of a similar question. What you can do, let's say that I wanted to add another table, and it's going to be very similar to this slide. So instead of recreating the whole thing, what you can do is on your thumbnail panel is you can right-click on the slide that you want to duplicate, and you can click on Duplicate Slide. And there are other options here too. As you can see, you have the selection of adding a new slide. You can delete a slide. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate slide. And we're going to, and make sure that you are selecting the correct slide. And the way that you know that which slide you've selected is it has this red highlighted border. And we can change the question to, what is your favorite topping on ice cream? I don't like that this went into a second line, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reduce the font size so it's all on one line. And we can change the information, like let's say caramel and okay. You can change your information however you need to. Other things that we can do is we can change the color scheme or things like that. And you can hover over them to see how it looks like before you select it. And let's say you want to change the order of your slides. What you can do in your thumbnail pane is you can click and drag it down to where you want it to be located. And as you can see, the slides just shift as you move, as you drag it along. Okay, so I'd like to go down here and place it there. Okay. Now, if you change your mind and you don't want to, and you want to remove a slide, what you can do is you can right click and click on delete slide. And then it removes that slide. You want to be careful because once you delete it, it goes away. If it was a mistake, you can always use this undo button up top next to the save symbol, and it'll bring back the slide that you had just deleted. Okay, whenever you're working on, I'm actually going to remove this one. So whenever you're working on slides, it's always a good idea to number your slides. That way, when you're presenting or providing your audience with a handout of the presentation, having the slides numbered makes it easy for you to reference which slides you're talking about, or if there was a question in your presentation and they're referring to a specific slide number, it'll be easy for you to for you and the audience to reference. And the way to do that is on in the Insert tab. You're going to see the option to that's called Slide Number. So you're just going to click on that. And you're going to select slide number here. You have other options with like whether you want it to have like a date and timestamp of when it was edited. So we just want the slide number for this specific project. You're going to click on apply. Then down here you can see that it's numbered, slide number 4. Okay. We're going to insert one more slide, which is like our closing slide. Usually when you end a presentation, it's usually a prompt or a conclusion or closing notes. And so instead of asking and polling the results for what the favorite topping is, I'm going to type in my closing slide as try ice cream. And then I want to insert another picture, and I'm going to search ice cream toppings and see what comes up. And I think this picture looks good, so I'm just going to go ahead and insert that. And I like the size. Now, I noticed that the font is not really to my liking. So what I want to maybe do is change the font Let's see. You can always change your themes later. I'm going to hover over some of them to see what it looks like. And this is when I had mentioned earlier, like let's say we chose this. My opinion would be that this is a little too busy for me. I can't really see a lot of the information. It's like distracting. So you just want to be aware of that when you're creating your slides. So I'm going to go back to a more simple format. And you have other variations of this particular theme. With this blue color. And here you can also change the fonts in the actual theme so that you don't have to change every single slide when you want to change the fonts. And so for this one, I like this font, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. Okay. Now, when you're viewing your presentation, now I've finished my editing of my presentation. So I want to now view how the different ways I can view my presentation. Up here on the top of the ribbon, you see the view option. So this here, we have the normal view. You have another option called outline view, which gives you all of the text under each slide on the navigation pane. You have the slide sorter option. So here it'll list out all of the different slides that you have. And if you wanted to rearrange the slides, this is a great way to rearrange slides if you wanted to, just by clicking and dragging, similar to the thumbnail pane. Then you have the notes page. Here, if you wanted to reference your notes content for your presentation, it's a lot easier to type through in the notes page. And then there are other options here too. So we have a question on how to change the size of the numbers. Okay. Let's go back to normal view. So if you think that the numbers, I'm not sure if it's the graph chart. We have a question that says, how do you change the size of the numbers on the background theme? I'm not sure I understand the question. So if you wanted to change, like on your chart, you can right click and you see that there's the font option here, and that lets you change the size. Let's say we want it to be 15 or 16, a common font size, and it'll change that. If I wanted it to still be a little bit bigger, then you can see it's a little bit more easier to read if the font is larger. Okay. Now, when you go to presenting your slideshow or your presentation, you have the slideshow option up top on your ribbon. We're going to go ahead and click on slideshow. And here you have different options. Okay. You can start from the beginning, or you can start from the current slide. I'm going to click on from the beginning. Okay. Now this is giving us the presenter viewer option. This is if you have two monitors, which I do. And so if this pops up, what you can, and it's popping up on the wrong monitor, what you can do is you can, or the monitor that you don't want it to be on, you can see the option up top that shows display settings. Click on that and you can swap the presenter view and slideshow, and that swaps it out. Okay. I'm going to go back to the presenter view option, and here you can see the layout of this. This full screen here, or this screen here, shows you what the viewers are looking at. And when you go to, and then on the right-hand side, you see what the next slide looks like. And then when you go to the actual slide, if you have any notes on that slide, it will show up over here in this section here on the right-hand side towards the middle bottom. If you need to change the font size of the notes, here you see that there's a couple of icons at the bottom. You can make the text larger. So if you're further away from your monitor, it might be easier for you to see your notes that way. Okay. There are other options here if you are using your presentation and you want to make little edits, or if you want to show where you're pointing at, you can do that using this icon here. And I'm going to switch my display settings so that you can see what that looks like if you were to do a presentation. So that's what the audience or viewers would be looking at when you use this laser option. Okay, I'm going to switch back. If you wanted to make highlights or pen edits, you can use this option here to emphasize or anything like that. If you wanted to erase, you have the eraser option here. Okay. Here you can see all slides. You can go back. Black or unblack slideshow. That means it just completely clears it out. So if you're not ready for viewers to see something, you can just black it out on the monitor. You click on that to make it reappear. And more slideshow options. Here you can see last viewed, hide presenter view, the black or white screen option, and then you have the end slideshow option. You can also press the escape key on your keyboard to exit out of slideshow option. Okay. And then in the next section, what we're going to do is we're going to show how to print and the different printing options you have. I'm just going to go and save my file. So up at the file, on the file option up top, you have the print section. So we're going to go ahead and click on print. Okay. And here you have the different print options. So here you can see that it defaulted to black and white or the grayscale. So I'm going to change that, and I want to use color. Okay. You have different options on how you want to print. Let's say you just want to print the current slide, you can do that. or you can print all slides. You can do a custom arrange, so you just wanted slides 3 through 5. You can type that in. Okay. I'm going to go back to print all slides option. Underneath that, you have full page slides option. If you click on the drop down arrow here, you have different options of what you want to print out. So the full page looks like this. The next option you have is notes page. So if you had a lot of notes, then you can see what that looks like here. The next option is an outline, which takes away all of the images and things like that and just shows you the text that's in your presentation. The other option, if you are doing handouts, is you can choose how many slides you want to select per page. You have the option of 2 slides. That's what that looks like. 3 slides with a notes section. So if you were in a class or webinar or seminar or something like that, you can use this option and it allows people to write notes, which makes it easy. So you can write whatever notes or comments you have related to that particular slide. You also have the option of printing slides going in the horizontal direction if you wanted 4 slides, or vertical section. So that means it's going, top left to bottom left, then top right to bottom right. Okay, so those are like the different options that you have for printing. Just going to click on the back arrow here. And then once again, when you want to exit out of your file, you want to make sure that you're saving. If you click on close option, you can do that as well. If you click on close without saving, let's say we make an edit here and we just click on close with the X button here, it will prompt you to save your changes. Or it will prompt you to not save it, or you can just cancel. Okay. There is a question, how can we create a bar diagram? So let me go ahead and insert a slide. So when you mean bar diagram, you can select here, and that's what it looks like. And it has similar options as we created the chart one. It's just going in a horizontal direction instead of the vertical direction that we had here. And as you can see, the spreadsheet that popped up, it has the similar parameters. If you wanted to add a series or a category, all you do is down here on the data selection, you have that little blue square. You're going to hover over that and you can add information or add more like a 4th series, or if you, instead of going over one for another series, you can pull down and it'll add more categories. And that just as an option, that's what it looks like. So here you can see that there's a series that was added or a category that was added, and that's what that looks like. Okay. that slide. So that brings us to the end of our program. Let me see real quickly. I just wanted to share some resources that we have. Oops. So on our Plano Library website, we have some resources called Learning Express Library, lynda.com, and tutor.com. And all of these resources, here's a pathway to get to it. All of these resources have different options and information related to Microsoft X or PowerPoint. Lynda.com has a lot of videos, even related to the specific version, whether it's PowerPoint 2010 or 2013, 2016. It'll have different videos related to the versions that you have downloaded onto your program. And then tutor.com, you're able to connect with a live tutor that might be able to help you with live questions and things like that. Okay. And then also on our Plano Library Learns blog, you're also able to view more information related to all of the programs and the fun services that we have. It looks like we have a few more questions. Let's see. So can you import GIF images? I've actually never tried that. I'm pretty sure that GIF images are similar to like video images. And so you are able to import video images if it's like a GIF file. You should be able to embed that similar to a video. And then the next question that we have is, can practice with these in Google Slides? Yes, so you are able to, if I'm not mistaken, with Google Docs, you are able to import files, whether you were using a Microsoft PowerPoint document. What will probably happen is if you make edits or changes to your file, it's going to convert it to something that's compatible to Google Slides. So you might have some formatting adjustments when you change in Google Slides, but if I'm not mistaken, Google Slides is compatible with Microsoft Documents. And then the next question we have is, do we use library card login for tutor.com? Yes. So for tutor.com, what you want to do is you want to go through this pathway. So you want to go to planolibrary.org, then to learn. I can actually walk you through what that looks like. Let's see. So right at the top, you see this learn option. You're going to click on that and then scroll to research and learn. And this actually takes you to all of the different resources and databases that we have. If you click on career, that's where I had this specific image snipped from. You can go to tutor.com. And then what it'll do is it'll ask you, because I'm using a Plano computer, City of Plano computer, it's not prompting me with my library card information, but right before you get to this page, it'll prompt you with your library card information. So you'll probably have to type in your card number and or your PIN. And then you can see that it's connected with Plano Library by seeing the Plano logo here, library logo here. don't know if we have instructions on, the question was, can the instructions be put in an email to me telling me how to get to the different avenues? I'm not sure if we have any instructions on that. We do have little handouts on how to get to like e-content and things like that, but we can get back to you. And if you do have trouble navigating to any of our library resources, you're always more than able to give us a call and you'll be connected to a staff member who can walk you through the pathways. Okay. So aside from that, it looks like we don't have any other questions. If you do have any questions, please type them in the chat as soon as you can. Other than that, it looks like we don't have any other questions. Thank you so much for you all participating in our program today on Microsoft PowerPoint Basics. All participants will receive a survey of the class. Please respond to that. We always encourage feedback so that we can provide quality programs virtually to our patrons. And then you will also be emailed a link to today's program through the email that you registered for participation. And then if you do have trouble finding any of our videos, or if you wanted to go back and view some of our other program videos, you are able to access that through planolibrarylearns.org on our blog. And there's a lot of information there. So once again, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.